real proud of this, but I've been drinking these while them White Claws. I've talked a lot about them, but damn, they kind of are nice. By the time I drink 15 beers, I'm so burpy and farty, I might need a spit up. Not a full puke, but a little I drink liquor the same way I drink beer, and that's fast. Then the only nerd around here having fun is me and maybe a cop that gets a chance to kick my ass. He's got his taser out as soon as he shows up. Can't say I blame him. All he's heard is that there's a belligerent drunk 6'2" Sasquatch running around, and he is unpredictable at best. There ain't no brakes on this train. Them old claws, yeah, they taste about like you're making out with a cat that has a piece of fruit in its mouth. But I can put 12 of them down in a pretty reasonable amount of time. Take me a good piss, and it's on to the next case. Biggest problem I see with them, though, is the price point. It's a little ridiculous to price a product that high in such economic times. It's arguably the hardest it has ever been out here for a pimp. Now, one damn case of claws costs you about $20. There ain't no way there's $20 worth of shit in that box.
Welcome back, everybody, now that I've got it off mute. My name is Ramun Wukong. This is your weekly Bitoreum update. Let's get into it. Sorry about last week. Between travel that was planned and sickness that wasn't planned, a lot of things didn't happen. My apologies. First point that I want to bring up, 4.1.0.0 has been a great success. A lot of things that I actually set out to do in a much longer time period have been largely resolved. There are a couple things moving forward I would like to resolve, but that's going to be a later video. As of right now, things are going quite well. I will continue to monitor the application in case any unknown issues arise. Next point is, TradeOgre's gone. That has been the kind of hot button for a while. So we have lost execs and TradeOgre in the last month. Unfortunate. Bitoreum still around. That is where you can buy and sell Bitoreum for the time being, and we are trying to work with TradeOgre to get us up and operational up there as well. The big talking point today is we are launching a promotion. More on that later. I do want to say that, with the 4.1.0.0 update, pardon me real quick. Sorry, still a bit hoarse from the sickness. There were some questions asked, and I have put some of them in the footnotes here. One of them is in regards to the macOS DMG file. Well, it was specifically designed for x86. It does work on ARM-based systems under the Rosetta layer, so while it is true that in the future I do want to make an ARM-based version, that will take some significant upgrades, and it probably won't come out until either for version 4.18 or version 5, right? So for the time being, you're going to have to use x86 under Rosetta until a time that I can sit down and really hammer out how to get the ARM working. More binaries probably will be coming in the future, but for right now, the generics work. This one is tested to have worked. I use this. It's pretty good. The POW cache and the bootstrap are all good. Those are just the updates there. I will be updating the Bitoreum builder, the one-click builder, to do a couple more things and probably also work for at least one other coin. More on that probably next week. Another big update is obviously we have updated the website. This isn't going to look the same. As you can see here, I'm running a local host. This is the development environment. This will be uploaded after the broadcast today. There were some significant changes, as you see here up in the in the navigation bar. There is no more one-click compiler. I have moved that down to the join the community on the bottom of every page, as well as we have added a promotions tab. More on that later. I have also added a video archive, so that way you can go and see all of the videos in a much nicer way than what YouTube normally presents them as. This was mostly done because I just don't like how YouTube does that. The documentation I will be working on this week to get that updated. A lot of these are now out of date because some things have changed. The wallet still works, and in the transparency, you can follow us along there. This will work on the live site. It doesn't, because I don't keep this file local that does this. This is on the site, and I just don't reference it that way. But if you go to the site right now, that works. And of course, you can always view it on the Explorer. The Smartnode promotion, I did move it to another wallet, so the old link will show a $0 balance because I just moved it to a flat-out different wallet. Things were getting a bit clumsy in my main wallet, and I decided, you know what, I have multiple wallets, let's start utilizing them in a better way. Okay. So onto the promotions, which this button is not lit yet on the live site. This will come a little bit later today. We have a 2025 Summertime Welcome Back Smartnode giveaway. I will be giving away 5 Smartnodes to lucky adopters of the Crystal Bitoreum network. To qualify, you have to meet these requirements: be an active member of our official Discord server in good standing, i.e. not banned. You have to not be currently running or attempting to run ghost nodes, and yes, I do monitor that. Complete a one-time registration for the giveaway. That'll come Tuesday or more likely Wednesday of this week. Unfortunately, the next 2 days are going to be extremely busy for me. So hopefully by Tuesday evening, if not Wednesday morning, there will be a registration in the Discord server. And until the last drawing, there will be little promotions and challenges that basically give you an extra entry for those that actually want to participate. What you will need, however, is a functioning VPS that you maintain. I don't care how you do it. You can pay for it. You can use one of Oracle's free services. You can use anything that you want, but it does have to be valid, and I will have to verify that. I will be holding the collateral for a period of 6 months, not 12. This was older data that I just didn't update. Right, see here it's 6, but up here it says 12. So what's going to happen is I actually have the collateral in a wallet. You give me the payout address. All right, we work out the rest of the details. You set up the VPS, the wallet runs, and then pays you out all of the rewards. I will be getting none of them. You collect all of them. Your reward for running that at the end of 6 months is you get the 2 million Bitoreum back to do with whatever you want. Set up your own smart node, sell it, hold it. It's up to you entirely. But anytime that you see this where it says 12 months, it's actually 6 months. If there is downtime, please let me know so that way I can plan in advance. So if your node gets flagged as being down, which will increase its pause score, let me know so I can either re-upgrade it to get rid of the pause score, or if it does get banned, just obviously let me know. I will take care of the transaction fees for that, and you still get your full 2 million for running the valid node. If, however, during the promotion I do find out that you are running a ghost node or attempting to run a ghost node, that will mean a forfeiture of the 2 million Bitoreum, and effective immediately, any rewards will stop. You'll still get to keep what you did have, but at that point in time, it's considered more or less a breach of quote-unquote contract. There won't be a real contract. It'll just be, you know what, you got your rewards, but you don't get any more, and that 2 million will go to the other winners, basically. So if before the end of the 6 months, I, for whatever reason, step away from the Bitoreum network or project, you'll just get the 2 million. I'm going to release it and you get it in hold. So there's that. So basically what's going to happen is the winners, you will get your 2 million Bitoreum in full at the end of a 6-month period. But during the 6 months, I want you to run a valid smart node. Obviously, if there's any collateral updates, I'm not planning anymore, but if a collateral update has to happen, you are not responsible for it. If the collateral goes up to, say, hypothetically 2.5 million Bitoreum, I will put up the other collateral to make the node still work. You will still get the rewards, and at the end of the promotion, you will get 2 million, not whatever the collateral goes up to. This is a giveaway for 2 million per winner. Okay? This will be up on the site later today, and it will be edited to reflect the new changes. Originally, I was thinking a year, but then I said, you know what? A year is a bit much. I think half a year, which really means, the end of this year, you're going to get your 2 million because I will have another promotion during Christmas time that I would like to do. So I basically want to have this one cleared out by then and get ready for that one. So effectively, that's what's going to happen. I hold your collateral, and at the end of the 6 months, if you're in good standing, you get the 2 million plus all the rewards that you reaped during the time of the Smartnode promotion. How many rewards? Well, that's going to determine on the Smartnode network itself. The more Smartnodes we get added, the longer the time to pay out happens, yada, yada, yada. But during that time, you will get 100% of the rewards dished out appropriately, and you will be able to see that in whatever wallet you give me. And of course, I can look at that too, because I'll have the original wallet, and I can do a little interrogating there to make sure everything is working. I will also periodically check on that wallet to make sure that there's no pause bans or anything like that, and if there are, I'll get in touch with you and we can sort out maybe your node crashed, maybe you actually had to upgrade it or move it to another one where you need like a new IP, and I can work with you on that to upgrade it and do all that kind of stuff to make sure that everything's all going. So that is that promotion. So effectively, as of right now, it's a 10 million Bitoreum giveaway. I will likely bump it up, but more on that in the coming weeks. Because what I would actually like to do is 2 grand prize winners will actually just get the full 2 million themselves to do with what they want. The rest of them will lock it into Smartnodes, but I haven't made that determination. So as of right now, this is more or less the contest in its entirety, with the exception of if you read 12, actually read that as 6, because that will be the promotion as of right now. Basically, I'm thinking Christmas time, New Year's time, that's when this ends, and you get paid in full, and you can do with what you want with that 2 million Bitoreum. 100% yours. No bullshit. I will take care of the transaction fees, all of that. You will get a full 2 million Bitoreum transaction. No fees taken out. There will be another promotion around Halloween. That's going to be a mining promotion. I will be working with certain pools to get that in place, and more information as we get closer to that. So effectively, there will be 2 draw dates. It will be the last 2 Sundays of the month. So that will be August 24th and then August 31st. There will be winners announced on those 2 dates live during these announcements. They correspond to Sundays for a reason. As for moving forward, the next goal is version 4.18.0.0, where I move further away from Raptorium's code and closer to Dash. The reason is I don't use a lot of Raptorium's functionality. I don't use assets. I have no interest in doing that. I actually want to use Bitoreum as a payment gateway, and that will lead into a question that I was asked that we're going to touch on the Q&A section. Okay, so yeah, there is also, so right now basically we are tied into Dash version 17 and Raptorium, I think 1.3 point something, don't quote me, but it's a very old version of Raptorium. That's where Marius basically forked from, and I want to get away from that. There was a lot of things that this is no fault to him. Piggy just didn't do right in that version, which is why eventually he moved away from that version to what he has today and corrected a lot of those problems. And that was kind of the basis for what a lot of what I did to get the application up and working the way that it is now. But I think ultimately I want to move entirely away from Raptorium and back into Dash, because I don't really use, outside of the algorithm of Ghostwriter, I don't really use a lot of Raptorium's functionality. So let's move it back into the actual upstream, which is Dash. And I do want to move away from Dash 17, which is where the upstream is pinned right now, and move it over to Dash 18, because there were a lot of features in Dash 18 that I think will just work out better for all parties involved. Okay, that's it for our announcements. I know it ran a little bit long, but that's because I did want to talk about this promotion a little bit. So let us move back over into sorry, the Q&A, and I apologize. My voice is still raspy as hell. This sickness kicked the shit out of me, no lies. Okay. So there were some questions that were asked of me early on. If you do want to have a question asked, I am monitoring the YouTube chat and the Space Monkeys channel in the Crystal Bitoreum Discord. So go ahead and ask your questions there. I do have some questions that came in during the week, and they said, we can't catch it live, but if you could answer it, so that's what we're going to do. First question was, when more exchanges? Hopefully by the end of this month. The first thing I really want to do is add a new trade pair to Bitoreum. So I'm working with him to figure out how much money that's going to be and work out exactly the trade pair and what I have to do to be compliant with what they want, basically. So that's what's going to happen first. Crate X will be behind that. They haven't even told me like general pricing. Like we're already on there, but I think they're still on the old chain, so I can't recommend them, which is why they're in maintenance mode on the website, because they're still dealing with old coin, which really shouldn't happen. I'm looking at Nest X Exchange or whatever. My only real problem with them, and it's nothing against them, they're very new, right? And with a lot of exchanges just kind of closing down that were more or less established, I am very hesitant to just jump in bed with new exchanges. Are exchanges needed? Yep, absolutely, 100% agree. But I am rebuilding this coin from the ground up, which means the tech has to be there. Right? We have one exchange. I would like 2 by the end of this month, and then I would like to add a third by October when the mining promotion goes live. This takes time, consideration, and money. I don't just want to jump into bed. I want to do the research. I want to do all of these things beforehand, and I just realized that music is blasting. I am so sorry. That is my fault. I don't hear it in my monitors, and I just looked up and realized it was peaking. So my bad. But to reiterate, I just don't want to jump into bed with any given exchange. I want to do the due diligence and make sure that they're going to be around, support the network, and have trade pairs that will actually be traded against. Litecoin is one that I'm looking at. Ravencoin is possibly another. There could be others too, right? And if you have a suggestion, please let me know in the Discord. I take these things under consideration. Am I the one that ultimately makes the decision? Sure. But if there's a good enough case, you have a point. But I would, like I said, I would like 3 exchanges by Halloween. We have one. We'll probably have another one by the end of this month, and then hopefully a third by that time, and then hopefully by the end of this year, a 4th and or a 5th, depending on how all of this goes. Okay, next question. Why does my wallet say I have funds, but I can't use them? Okay, that's a good question. I don't know exactly why in code it does this, but when major upgrades happen, the wallet has a bad habit of locking collateral or things that it thinks are collateral. In some cases, it was also just a lot of inputs from the old, when you sent yourself tokens from the old chain, they're still valid tokens, but the transaction got locked when you did the migration. And if you didn't do the migration, please go watch that video. That is very important if you want to operate and actually not have a whole bunch of errors thrown from your wallet. You will need a clean migration. That said, doing the clean migration has been known to, on occasion, lock transactions. You will have to unlock them, which can be done from the Bitoreum CLI command if you're going headless, or from the GUI. Bring this up to me in Discord. I can kind of help you through it. It was brought to my attention by Zito. It happened to PMP Mining. I think to a lesser degree it also happened with Bitoreum when they turned the wallet back on. I'm aware of this. I have to look into the code about why this happens and see if I can prevent it in the future from updates, because that's kind of a huge pain in the ass, and I'm not even going to lie. I didn't even know it was going to happen. Excuse me real quick. Sorry, like I said, this cough is just kicking the shit out of me. Anyway, I know that happens. I have to look into the code, and hopefully by the next major version, I will have solved the reason why and put that in. Next question is one I keep getting asked a lot. When Smartnode setup video? Hopefully later today. I really did want to have it done by this morning, but when I looked at the footage this morning in the NLE, the video editor, Some of the footage had gotten corrupted, and I don't know why, so I'm going to have to re-record it. It's not particularly complicated, but I am aware of it, and I will have to reshoot it, edit it down, and then get it up. But it will be up by tonight, right? Either this afternoon, later this afternoon, or this evening. Next question. Smart. What is Smart? So I want to condense this down effectively. Smart is my view on utility. I have said for a very long time that having all of these altcoins is great, I guess, if what you want is just more stocks on the stock market. But they don't functionally do anything. Every coin is a copy of 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 a copy. Now, a lot of coins and projects have their own goals. Great. But what my goal always has been, even before I took over the Bitoreum project, was to actually create a real world store where you can buy sometimes digital things, but more likely real world goods with purely cryptocurrency, no fiat, right? And how will that look like, and yada yada yada. Now that got put to the back burner when I took over the Bitoreum project, unfortunately, but that is where the next transition is. So outside of actually just doing the software upgrades, I do actually want to build the store platform, and that's what S-Mart is. Right now, it just pins it to the eBay store that I use, but in the future, it will have its own domain, and that's what its storefront is. And what I would like to eventually have, initially it will just be just me selling things on there, but what I would really like to do is get coin projects involved that like the coin owner, oh well, I want to sell merch, right? Let's pick on one. Yerbus is a primary example. Now, I haven't talked to Yerbman about this at all. I'm just using him for the example. But say, oh, well, I want to make like stickers and T-shirts and mugs and stuff like that and swag, basically. But I want to sell it. Okay, well, you can have a seller's platform like eBay, and then you get to delineate which coins you want to take. So if it's like Yerbus only merch, you can only use Yerbus to spend over there. So it gives them a way to give utility to their own coins by saying, oh, okay, well, we can actually use our crypto as a money, basically, right? And indistinguishable from a credit card, cash, because that's really what's going to take crypto out of niche use into more utility values, is give them real world instances. And if you can use it to buy stuff, hooray, buy stuff. Now, obviously, there's not such a simple thing. I'm talking about it like it is. Obviously, the platform has to work. Obviously, tariffs are a very real situation and consideration going forward. And how does that work for both the seller and the buyer? There's a lot of things to take into consideration, and it's not there yet, but that's the utility I would love to build into Bitoreum to start with, and then go to other projects and say, hey, here's a platform, here's what we like, here's what we're doing. If you want to be part of it, great, and go for that way. All right, next question. Why don't you update the old Bitoreum Discord? I've said it a couple of times. I'm no more than a basic moderator over there. So at best, I can time you out and I can kick you, but I can't do anything like actually creating channels. And about the best that I can do is just tag everyone. And that has to get annoying at some point in time. And I'm just not really interested in doing that. I would much rather just deal with that in the Crystal Bitoreum network, and hopefully people will slowly transition over and say, okay, well, Bitoreum, the original Bitoreum project is dead. It's now moved over here. Let's go join this community and see what's up, and hopefully just naturally, organically kind of transition them over. And I just don't have the interest in running two Discord servers. Perfectly honest, if I had higher powers, I probably would just shut down the old Discord network, but it's still valid. People want to go over there and do stuff, although I do see a lot of spam, particularly and not safe for work content that gets spammed over there from time to time. And that's not new to a Discord channel, just there's nobody over there anymore that actually has real admin or kick or ban privileges anymore. They've all moved on or just disappeared, or Marius just really didn't dole them out. I don't really know, but that's really for the old Discord. Yeah, and the question that I just got asked was about, well, I have stuff that's locked out. Come over and talk to me in the Crystal Bitoreum Discord server. I do also want to mention that effective today too, uh, there is a new channel. It's a private channel, so you can look at it, but you can't really interact with it outside of copying and pasting. This kind of is the walkthrough for what I'm going to use uh, to set up a Smartnode. One caveat: when we come down here to this is only going to give you the x86 version, and if you're running on ARM, it's not going to help you a lot only. But this will be able to be a guide that you can kind of look at and say, oh, okay, yeah, I see what's going on. So that is available to everybody to view. This is a pretty good, easy way to just copy and paste and follow along at home, basically, as a kind of a step-by-step guide. All right. Well, thank you so very much for tuning in this week. I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Right? This is what I was talking about. There's a new channel in Discord called Smartnode Setup. It's viewable to all members. So if you're a member, you can see it. If you've been downgraded from a member to jail, right, you can't see this. Sorry, but you know what you did. Although I think there's only one person there, but irrelevant. If you're a member, this is open to you to view. That's what I wanted to say. And I just forgot that it was on the Q&A screen. That was my bad. Okay, folks, I look forward to seeing y'all again next week. If you have questions, join us over on the Crystal Bitoreum Discord server. You can also follow along on Twitter and Blue Sky. I update, or I try to update them fairly regularly. Anyway, y'all have a good night. I will see y'all next week.